Good evening. Welcome to Northbeat. I'm Megan Roberts. This morning, a fuel truck exploded near the Yellowknife Airport, prompting a blockade near the site. Officials are crediting fast-acting emergency responders for stopping what could have been a much larger disaster. Robert Holden has the details.
It was pretty quiet, and then just all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and there was a heck of a bang.
Some scary moments near the Yellowknife Airport this morning as a fuel truck reportedly exploded at a Shell fuel farm. Scott McLean is the service manager at Aurora Ford next door. When the building began shaking, he assumed it was rock being blasted nearby.
Pretty quickly, we put together that something had happened back here, and the sky was full of black smoke, and you could see the flames, from anywhere in our yard at the Ford dealership.
Yellowknife Airport manager Randy Straker says he got the call around 9:30 a.m. He knew it would be all hands on deck after learning the truck was sitting just meters from several large fuel tanks.
Being the fuel farm, we decided we better hit the crash alarm, which activates all our staff. So we had 9 respond. We had 2 trucks respond to scene right away. So it was about 9:30 we were on scene.
With help from the Yellowknife Fire Department, Straker says the blaze was extinguished in about 8 minutes. A Shell employee thought to have been operating the truck was uninjured. No other injuries or damage to neighboring businesses were reported thanks to fast-acting emergency services.
I walked out in the back of the yard to try and get a feel of the seriousness of the situation and the calm that they were all under, and just how they handled it. It was fantastic. Like I said, enough can't be said. They did an amazing job.
The Shell fuel farm has closed for the next 24 hours for safety reasons. Straker says it's still unclear what caused the explosion, but Shell Canada will investigate in the coming days. Robert Holden, CBC News, Yellowknife.
CPAW's Yukon is sounding the alarm about a lack of protection in McIntyre Creek. A third of the creek is covered by existing mining claims. The mining exploration company Gladiator Metals owns most of them. While the City of Whitehorse announced its intentions to make McIntyre Creek a conservation area earlier this year, that doesn't protect it from pre-existing mining claims. The CBC's Catherine Pilkington has the story.
In November and December of this year, Gladiator Metals announced it had discovered yet more copper at various drill sites around Whitehorse. Company president Marcus Hardin called the results highly encouraging. He says the copper is unusually high grade, but some of the sites fall within the proposed McIntyre Creek conservation area. CPAW's conservation manager Randy Newton says some of the company's planned drill targets could have serious impacts on wildlife.
This is the area of the creek where we saw the olive-sided flycatcher as bird species at risk, or where we recorded the Pacific wren. This is an area that grizzly bears and black bears use, and moose and lynx.
Minister of Mines John Stryker says the situation is complex, but there's only so much the territorial government can do. He says it's something the government needs to address as part of its reforms of the Quartz Mining Act.
So what we want to be doing right now is just talking with industry to say, hey, this is where we're planning to put in a park. But it's worth noting that a Gladiator has claims that exist outside of the City of Whitehorse, inside the City of Whitehorse, and inside the proposed park boundaries within the City of Whitehorse.
The City of Whitehorse is currently deciding whether to approve the company's development permit. Catherine Pilkington, CBC News, Whitehorse.
It sits just outside Tuktoyaktuk. It is big, abandoned, and rusty. Decades ago, it was used to drill for oil. Now it does nothing. But as the CBC's Des Lorraine reports, at least one resident wants to make use of it.
Cutting off a trail that hunters use all the time. So now we've got to go around it. I don't know what's going to happen in the spring with it, but it just creates obstacles for people no matter what.
John Nuxana Jr. is not mincing his words. He wants the 112-meter structure out of the Tuk Harbor. The abandoned rig is called a caisson retained island. It was used to drill offshore oil wells in the 1980s. It has not been moved or used since 1987. Nuxana said the anchors holding it in place have broken.
It's now sitting on the beach, probably 500 meters, maybe 750 meters from where it was originally. It started out with 4 anchors. Now there's no anchors, so that tells me all the anchors are sitting on the seafloor with all the cable that would have been attached to this thing.
He is concerned it could move more and block off a river channel used by fish to spawn. Nuxana says the caisson could be used in other ways for the community.
Maybe we could use that That piece of tin there, that big iron there for some kind of shoreline erosion. I mean, it's just sitting there. It hasn't moved. It's basically garbage floating around in our harbor.
Hamlet officials say there isn't money to tear it down and use it for scrap metal, but they've been in contact with FedNav, the Montreal-based company that owns it.
They reported to us that they were supposed to send inspectors here last year, or the past summer, but weather got in the way, so we're still waiting to have a meeting with them to discuss what's the plans for the caisson here in the future.
And that means nothing will be done about the rusty old structure anytime soon. No word yet on when FedNav will meet with the Hamlet. Des Loreen, CBC News, Inuvik.
Electric and hybrid vehicles will soon be the norm. Earlier this week, Ottawa announced it'll phase out gas-powered vehicles by 2035. But there are questions about how that will work in communities that run on diesel-generated power. Francis Sims is the Associate Dean of Information and Communications Technology at Humber College. He says conventional electric vehicles might not be possible, but a more mixed model could work.
One of the ideas is that instead of a completely electric vehicle push in the north, there might be more of a focus on hybrid options. Options where you plug in your car when possible, but when you don't, you can still run gasoline in the car.
Sims also points to the practicality of running electric vehicles in northern winters. He says once temperatures reach minus 20 degrees Celsius or lower, an electric vehicle's charge only lasts for about half the time. Electric vehicles are causing problems for some drivers down south as well. They're waiting to have their batteries replaced, and it's not happening quickly. One driver has been waiting for more than a year with no indication of when a new one might come. Ryan Patrick Jones reports.
This is not the car Atif Harouni wants to be driving. He's been using rentals since last December. That's when the battery on his 2017 Nissan Leaf failed, needing replacement.
Initially, I was okay with it, right? Like I understood there might be supply chain issues.
But now his car has been sitting in the dealership parking lot for more than a year. Nissan has promised to reimburse him for gas.
Not giving me the ETA is just frustrating. They are producing new car batteries right now, so I'm not sure why they can't produce replacement batteries.
It's a concern. It's a disappointment. It's a frustration.
This Quebec resident is having similar issues. He's been without his car since October.
It might be a year and a half. Who knows? They just couldn't determine when they would have a battery.
Hitting the road in 2010, the Nissan Leaf became one of the first successful zero-emissions electric vehicles. More than 20,000 have been sold in Canada. In a statement, Nissan Canada says it's working diligently on a compatible replacement for the battery used in Harouni's car, and it's close to a sustainable fix for the Canadian market.
It's a real scarcity issue in the sense that you have a vehicle that didn't get a lot of production built, and the battery itself was a third-party sub-assembly that was put into the vehicle, and they're not being built anymore because, Nissan and the battery company, AESC, has really advanced in terms of they're on the next generation.
Just this week, the federal government announced plans to phase out gas and diesel-powered vehicles by 2035, a move to bring in more electric vehicles in the coming years. As for Harouni, Nissan says it will expedite reimbursement for his gas, but what he wants is a replacement battery for his Leaf, and soon. If not, he wants Nissan to buy back the car. Ryan Patrick Jones, CBC News, Toronto.
That same woman from the SEC keeps calling. Can I give her your number? No.
Michael Lazaridis, want to come and answer some questions?
Why is the SEC looking at us?
I'm sure it's nothing. Yeah.
I'm just wondering how you convinced all these engineers from around the world to come all the way to Canada. Do you know what the sentence is for multi-million-dollar stock fraud?
We carry a world of information in our pockets because we want to know. Breaking news that shapes your world.
All right.
Reporting from the scene onto your screens.
It goes on like this, and on and on and on and on.
It's news you can trust, delivered when you want, where you want. On Canada's News app. Download the free CBC News app.
It doesn't matter how full of people your house is as long as it's full of love. Now today is not about the future. It's not about the past. It's about this moment.
You can't go halfway with Swan Lake.
There's a lot of stress. I love ballet, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't love me back.
The stakes become very high.
We're just trying to survive right now.
Some people rise and some people don't.
The Great Canadian Baking Show is back.
And the winner is...
Alan, no, it's too soon for that.
How about now?
Give me that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Christmas is my favorite time of the year. It's really a time for family to be together. It's really for community to be together, so I'm really honored that my family is able to join me here today. It's something that's very special and dear to me. I am so thankful for the incredible support I received to be able to serve, and I am very happy, in particular to my amazing wife, who's our anchor of the family, who keeps us grounded, but especially during Christmas, where it really allows us to be able to connect with each other, with our children as well. So I'm very excited to be here for Christmas, where we'll be joining with the community games where we can, when we can, and really the suppers that we'll be having together with our friends, with our family. So I'm really excited for Christmas this year. I would like to wish everyone a very special Merry Christmas. It really is a time and place for family to get together, for community to get together. We know this past year has been difficult for many, for a lot of us. But really, this is the time where we reflect and where we celebrate as a family, as a community. And to enjoy one another. I very much look forward to joining the community games as much as I know everyone else in the community. So with that, look forward to seeing everyone and wish everyone a very good Merry Christmas, as well as an incredible New Year that's coming.
Merry Christmas.
Canadians may be dreaming of a white Christmas, but for many it may remain a dream. In parts of the country, the white stuff is failing to fall. Here's the CBC's Terry Reith.
It may be almost Christmas. The decorations are up, but in many parts of Canada, one thing is missing: snow.
I mean, it doesn't look like winter, doesn't feel like winter, and I'm talking about coast to coast.
In Edmonton, at least there's ice to skate on.
It was my nephew's birthday yesterday and he wished for snow. And my dad likes to cross-country ski and he's waiting for snow. But we'll just make the best with what we got.
In normally frigid Regina, it's too warm to even make ice. And in Kamloops, they're golfing.
Well, the weather's nice, so it's good for golfing. I'm surprised there's not many out here, but they'll be coming.
We're just not living up to our reputation as the Great White North. We may be great, but we're not as white as we have been or could be.
On this cross-country ski trail, the only snow is what they make. But for the moment, they're adapting, even hosting competitions that moved here because of the lack of snow elsewhere.
We're prepared and planning that will be on 100% man-made snow as well.
At this Toronto Christmas market, some people are missing the white Christmas.
It takes away the kind of the atmosphere of Christmas time for me. Like, I always think of Christmas being white, and no snow now or 3 days out makes it a little upsetting. But I guess you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day, right? Keep it festive.
I think we see the trend. We see in 2050, this may be the norm. This might be what Christmas is about in Canada, where we don't see the white and the cold. It's because of global warming.
Canada just went through its worst wildfire season ever. There are concerns now that with this warm, dry weather, next spring could be even worse. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
December is a popular time for couples to get engaged, and this year more of those proposals may include lab-grown diamonds. Nisha Patel explains why the market is starting to sparkle.
Evelyn Marie Schaefer.
Looking back at the moment she got engaged,
Will you marry me?
Evelyn Schaefer was especially pleased with the ring.
I'd never seen anything like it, and it's gorgeous, and so he did a very good job.
Her fiancé proposed with diamonds that weren't mined from the earth. They were created in a lab.
With lab grown, it was just kind of a way to help with sustainability.
And recent innovations mean the manufactured stones are much more affordable than natural diamonds.
We're both students, and so I didn't want us to start our marriage with a bunch of debt over a ring.
Lab-grown diamonds are made inside a plasma chamber. With the right temperature, pressure, and gases, the process forms a gem in just a few weeks.
We've created this technology in order to really remove the human and environmental tolls.
U.S. retailer Vray is seeing huge demand from millennial and Gen Z consumers. It's expanding rapidly and opened its first Canadian showroom this year.
We are looking at an industry that's changing, and we're at the forefront of changing for the better.
Global sales of lab-grown diamonds jumped nearly 40% last year compared to the year before, and big brands are catching on.
Diamonds are forever. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds.
Jewelry giants Pandora and Swarovski have launched lab-grown diamond collections. The gems are also shining bright with celebrities. U.S. regulators have declared lab-grown diamonds are the real thing, chemically and physically, and they're graded and certified the same way. But experts warn compared to natural diamonds, lab-grown don't hold as much value.
Most people can't distinguish between the two, but the one is still worth significantly more and much more desirable than the other one.
This is probably our best seller.
Still, this Toronto jeweler is doing big business selling only lab-grown stones.
A diamond is a diamond, whether the diamond is mined outside or whether it's made in a lab.
Either way, the hope is the same, that they'll be forever. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
There's a new music program in the Yukon, and as George Moratis shows us, it's empowering First Nations youth one note at a time.
It's Wednesday night at the Transportation Museum in Whitehorse. Music class is in session. Lessons like this one run 4 nights a week. The students are First Nations youth. They're music teachers, some of the territory's best.
Through a lot of work that I was doing, I noticed that there was a real gap in terms of kids' access to music education. And so this was sort of a way to fill that. It's the most rewarding work I've ever done in my life. It's astonishing. It's kids who are a part of this program they love being here. And the instructors who are working here, they love being here too. And we feel like we have the best jobs we've ever had doing the most important work we've ever done.
And I walk alone in pieces or just in pieces after that?
I walk alone at recess in pieces.
In pieces, okay.
Why I'm here is to make music. Just random music I find on GarageBand. Like, it's really cool because like you can like use it for like a lot of stuff. Makes me feel really good. And it makes me feel like it's another way of sharing my feelings.
I really, really believe in the methodology and the way that we go about teaching in this program. I really have seen and experienced how having a student-directed program really works. The main thing is that they are always coming to us. There's no pressure to learn a specific thing. They come with what is really they're actually passionate about, and the difference between that and traditional music lessons, the way that they're normally taught with private lessons with a curriculum and things like that. I just find it really works well for the students.
This program is as unique as the venue where the music is taught. The lessons are free, transportation is provided, and dinner is served. It's all thanks to funding from the national organization Jordan's principal.
It could be challenging at the same time, but once you get the hang of it, it gets fun and easier.
What's Andy like as a teacher?
He's a good instructor. He knows how to play piano, so he can teach.
Well, I really believe in the power of music. Well, I think it really stimulates your creativity, helps them to express themselves. It's all really, really healthy, and it gives them something good and positive to do with their time. Well, what I've seen here since we started is when they come, they're kind of rather reserved, and then as they get going, I've just seen them really open up, and I've seen the progress is really amazing. Really, anything that can get our young people being creative and expressing themselves, I think, is super healthy.
Right now, the music program is slated to run until at least May of next year. Big picture, the hope is the music will continue to be made for the foreseeable future. George Moratis, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Fort Smith RCMP officers handed out over 300 presents to elementary and daycare students this Christmas season. The gifts come from an online group called Cindy's Northern Canada Projects. It buys and ships supplies from the south to the north. This is the second time the detachment has partnered with Cindy's. Corporal Stephanie Leduc got things going last year. She wanted to build connections between the community and its RCMP members. And it's something she's very passionate about.
That's the reason I became a police officer. We cannot police a community without the community support. So I want to instill in members in the field that community policing is key, and it's not just about investigating and arresting and charging people. That those relationships you'll see the impact of it tenfold, even immediately, but also years down the road.
Leduc is so passionate about it, she organized the gift giving from afar. She now lives in Saskatchewan after being transferred. She says the event is incredibly special and helps build the bond between police and youth, and she hopes the detachment will be able to continue the project. Christmas will be a little brighter for some children in Qinghai Nunavut and Inuvik NWT this year, thanks to the annual Canadian North Toy Drive. Each year, the airline distributes toys to 2 northern communities, one in the east and one in the west. This year, almost 600 children were given toys. This year's toy drive raised a record $21,000. The Inuit-owned airline plans to keep the tradition going next Christmas. In a snowy yard in a quiet Winnipeg neighborhood, there's a Charlie Brown-like Christmas tree decorated with baubles, lights, cards, and dog treats. As Wendy Parker reports, it is a go-to destination for pups and their people.
Okay, we're going to put a few more treats here. I think about 20 years ago, our dog passed away about that time, and we decided in the winter it was nice to see the other dogs out for walks. And our children had all grown up, our grandchildren were moved away with family. So we began to put our tree outside. Let's put it over here. I get the tree that they can't sell, because I think every little tree should have a chance. And we put it up out here for the dogs and decorate it. And we were hanging candy canes for the children and little doggy bones for the dogs. Did you get that one? Pull it, there. There you are. When people came, the dogs would be at the tree, they'd take a picture of them, So we'd sometimes get copies of the picture. Sometimes they were printed on a piece of paper and then tucked inside a card. And we tried to hang them all on the tree. Thank you so much for doing this every year. It was always a highlight of the holiday season and our walks with Rosie, who we said goodbye to in November. Wishing you a lovely holiday season. Happy holidays. Hi. It makes me feel the season, And how much it means to people. How much their pets mean to them. Bye, Rosie. Bye. We have lots of dogs. We have more dogs than people. The whole neighborhood's gone to the dogs. We're running out of cookies here, Simon. The people seem to enjoy it to come by, and it was so nice to see everyone smiling at Christmas and kind of happy about the time, Well, it's grown and grown, and now we have people across the street. They bring boxes of doggy bones for us. So we put them up in the tree. It's our Christmas present to and from the neighbors. We give it to the neighbors, they give it back to us. And it just feels good. Hi, Annie. Annie, would you like a cookie? Eh? There, that's a good one. Oh, you're a good girl. Yes, you are. Dogs are more than just little creatures, aren't they? They mean an awful lot to people. And it's important for the people to have that, to remember. And when they come by, they do remember. But you know, I've never seen anybody go by who hasn't smiled. You can find the tree anytime you want, eh?
Okay, we'll be back. Thank you, Bill. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, stay safe everyone. We will see you again next week. And we leave you with a look at the Christmas lights of Yellowknife. Have a good night and Happy Holidays.
Watch CBC News Explore 24 hours a day for free